welcome to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
And I wonder if people are guessing where we are today, this morning. We are in the historic Fulton Mall. This place is so historic that there's going to be some changes coming along. And we want to be able to talk a little bit about that history.
I know a lot of people are not used to having changes around, but this area is going to be changed. In fact, the area where we're standing right now is not going to be here. It's going to be a street going to go right across here. In fact, I don't believe this is going to be here right behind us.
The big clock tower, and something that was dedicated to the architect and the people that helped to build the Fulton Mall. And so this is a 6-block pedestrian mall. That's a fairly large mall. And so people are wondering, well, why does there have to be a street through it? There have been businesses that have left this area. We had black businesses that were here and were once thriving that didn't do so well, and they left and went to other locations. So Fresno is looking at those changes, wanting to see businesses thrive and wanting to see its downtown become something different. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, granted, as this mall opened September 1st, 1964, in fact, the anniversary is coming up, isn't it? Shortly here in a month. I think the idea of it then was you have the community that was really involved and about coming downtown. You had the Montgomery Wards, you had the Woolworths, you had the Godshocks, all those big chain stores that people were used to that would bring them down here. And I think I remember even when I was a little girl and I would visit my grandmother who lived here in Fresno. And I remember going to a Woolworths and a Godshocks, and I remember this mall thriving. Right now it's a bit empty. We do see some homelessness that is here. We do see a different element that maybe was different 30 years ago.
I remember when I was coming here, my grandmother brought me here. It was a lot of different plays, a lot of different activities that's around this area. On the corner they have, they're still here from a while back, is a Payless shoe store. So it's a lot of different type of ethnic
that culture's still here.
That's around here. So right now it's a lovely walk right here with the trees in this area. So you can hear the birds singing as we speak this.
It will still be comforting, I guess, when there is a street going through it. It's still going to be comforting. There'll still be the trees. They'll just be moved off to the side. But this place will be bustling. It's about being able to have a city that is thriving and people that are down here. The business and if you look at the economy of Fresno and the unemployment rate that we do have, being that mostly, if we look at the Central Valley, or at least in Fresno, hires for casinos, the medical field, or something in agricultural industry, we really want to start attracting businesses, start attracting small businesses and micro businesses back down here. So if that means bringing some more traffic, foot traffic, it's going to boost the local economy here.
And that will provide a lot of jobs in this area, and also opportunities for business owners to come here and have a new spirit, a new way.
And why not make that adjustment now? If you're ever thinking about owning a business, I would start here at the Fulton Mall and start building that. There are some successful businesses that are here that we see even at late night that are open. There's a local restaurant that does really well and thriving. I really think it's about your audience and being able to bring them in and having that buy-in from the community to support you. I think there's ways to do that. Yeah,
and also around here they have major bus stations and local. I know over here in the corner they have a casino area, and over here they have some other different department stores and everything where people come here and purchase many different items.
So I talked about the original name being named after Fulton G. Berry, after his historic death in 1910, and that renewal effort that started in the 1960s. But the pioneering, we want to make sure we recognize that the pioneering efforts came from Austrian architect Victor Gruen and also Gerrit Egbo, who were really the ones about transitioning this place. And I think it was in 1954 where they were able to find another location that was similar to this in Michigan, where it was thriving. And you had this walking mall per se, and I guess we don't get to appreciate that. Or maybe people don't appreciate it as much, but there's so many buildings. You have the Edwards Cinema, you have the Maya Cinema, you have these different complexes that have their own Fulton Mall, so to speak, in those areas. So I think it's time for us to open this up because downtown is building and we have the high-speed rail that is coming and it's not going anywhere.
And that will provide many jobs in many areas.
And we also want to let you know how you can reach us. You can always send us an email at media@amptvnow.com. That's media@amptvnow.com. And we're speaking from people in Madera, Merced, Tulare, Visalia, throughout the Central Valley. We want to make sure we are your contact base, and please send us those press releases and news and information that can get to us. Better yet, you can also go to one of our ONME Network partners, our ONME Network calendar. It's free to join that calendar and post events that are happening so that we can talk about it not only on our ONME Sunday Mornings, but also on Valley Black Talk Radio. Some of our topics that we'll be covering, which is so essential as we're talking about Black businesses, for instance, that have moved from here in the high-speed rail. We're going to be talking about the California Black Media Group has sent out information about the state of Black businesses in California. Now, as you know, we did a several-month segment just on that, and we're going back to that because there was a panel discussion to really get some more input from Black-owned business owners and also from Aubrey Stone. And so we were able to get more insight. We want to be able to share that with the audience.
Yes, they go more into what is called Prop 209, and Prop 209 restricts certain African Americans from getting proposed as far as information about them so we can gather data and resources.
So we'll be talking more about that, along with a brief Sandra Bland update, or at least our comments on that. Some people want to know our commentary on that, so we'll talk shortly about that. And also Valley Black Talk Radio has some commentary and some highlights, not only on the Black-owned businesses, but other community issues. And so when we come back from break, we're going to be talking more about Black businesses and the panel discussion that happened and the California Black Media's report specifically on the state of Black businesses in California and how Prop 209 has affected them and has affected the state. So you are watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back after this short break. Want to contract for the City of Fresno? Great, because the City of Fresno needs you for paint, rehab, roofing, and minor repairs. Attend the contractor's workshop and find out how you can qualify. Call 559-621-8300, 559-621-8300, and reserve your spot for August 19th at Fresno City Hall in the council chambers from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Join us at the R&B Blues concert hosted by Feather Do Eyes, featuring the sounds by DJ Yellow. Saturday, September 12th at the Museum Outdoor Pavilion. Doors open at 5 p.m. Admission is $20. VIP, $35.
To meet state-mandated water cuts during this drought, we all need to use less water.
Start by knowing your 2 outdoor watering days. Odd addresses on Tuesday and Saturday, and evens on Wednesday and Sunday.
Then, cut your watering times in half. And if you see problems with city sprinklers, let us know.
We're all in this together, and together is the only way we can meet our goal.
So this summer, don't frown on brown, because a brown lawn is a responsible lawn.
A message from the City of Fresno.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
This morning we are filming in the historic Fulton Mall. Why is this place historic? Well, there are so many changes that have happened to this place. History still will remain, it will just be a little bit changed. In fact, it was September 2013 when that big Tiger grant was given, the federal grant that was given to the city of Fresno. And this was to help implement change. This grant came from the U.S. Department of Transportation. And so the City Council of Fresno was able to take that vote, a 5-2 vote back in February 2014, to be able to have a bustling downtown and to be able to have traffic running through this mall, meaning street traffic, which will make some changes for downtown and for small businesses.
I noticed also that in this area right here will be a street. In those areas where those bustling people are going to be bustling all over here and creating not only different business but different job opportunities. So that's going to revise the revenue and also the income streams in this area for many people here in this area.
And that's why we want to talk about black businesses, what we're going to be talking about from this California Black Media Report, because California, we're noticing there are some struggles when it comes to black businesses. So we got to hear from black business owners and also President and CEO of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, Aubrey Stone. And one of the things that he commented on, and we're looking at some of the pictures that are from this conference as we look on the screen there, he says we need access to capital. Expressed Aubrey Stone, black-owned businesses are less than 2% of firms doing business with the biggest state agencies such as DGS, Caltrans, High Speed Rail, Department of Corrections, CalPERS, or the Department of Education.
Well, also what we noticed too, in 1996, the enactment of Proposition 209, the landmark amends prohibiting state institutions from racial preferences. So a lot of the data that was collected, they can't tell which ones are African American owned and which one is not, because the state prohibits that.
Which is unfortunate because even our own federal government does give preference and guidelines for ethnically diverse businesses. So it becomes the challenges for these business owners that are just trying to keep up and stay up with the funding and being able to compete with the contracts of larger corporations that might have had a better advantage. And so we're looking at some of the comments that were said here as far as why it was so important, this hearing, and the struggle for black-owned businesses to survive in California. And so it was the Black Caucus that convened this informational hearing with the 2 Assembly Business and Jobs Committees at the state capitol. And this was to hear those testimonies of these established business owners and what it would be to, what it's going to take to improve enterprise.
Well, I noticed with Larry Lee, the president and general manager of Sacramento Observer newspaper, he made this quote in his statement. I feel I can confidently say that many of California black business owners feel like the state has turned its back on them. And for the state to diverse and wonderful as California, that is a great tragedy, he said.
It is a tragedy, I have to agree, because we are supposed to be that state that is up on the diversity. So you have 1.1 million women-owned businesses in California, but you have 130,000 black-owned businesses in California. And this is according to the SBA. So we really don't even have the correct statistics unless we are looking at the Small Business Administration or the U.S. Census. That does not mean that the micro businesses have registered with the SBA or are even a part of that census.
One of the other things that he mentioned also, Aubrey Stone, he said 1.7 employees as far as black owned in California is the average. At that time, it's 1.7%.
That the businesses hire employees?
Yes, employees that are black owned. So,
but the challenge is they're either too small to be able to get the rebate or to be able to get that tax incentive or advantage. And even getting the public notice on contracts, you have the ethnic media that is complaining that there isn't enough time. They give them 30 days, and you'll see these big contractors that are already going to be getting that contract. So it's assumed that it looks like they already are getting it anyway. So by the time they get it out to others who would like that contract, that might be African American or other ethnic company, they're realizing they're not able to do that.
Well, it's a big disadvantage. If you are an African American business owner and you're trying to compete for those particular contracted jobs and you're not able to, and you're not getting the information 30 to 60 days later, then chances are you miss out on that opportunity for that income.
This is true. Malaki Suka Aman, who is the California State Government Consultant and President of the California Urban Partnership, and he resolves legislation, he's making his way through the State Assembly and he's making some suggestions about new markets, tax credit, and how they can support small minority-owned businesses, meaning those corporations that are able to do that. Companies that are larger companies reward them for helping those small enterprising black businesses, especially the ones that are needy and are in impoverished areas but are still surviving.
Well, I noticed also that he mentioned that, increasing the minimum wage would be devastating for the African
He
American
did say
business
that.
owners.
He did say that.
So that they was going into that direction, but he said that'll be a tragic situation for African American business owners if they increase the minimum wage.
So he suggested technical assistance, he suggested guidance through the melange of regulations, certifications, bonding, security insurance permits, licensing, and accounting practices that would help alleviate some of those issues and have a matching fund with the federal government's commitment to provide aid to some of the California small black businesses.
Mm-hmm.
When we are looking at Assemblymember Cheryl Brown, this is the Democrat from San Bernardino and business owner for 4 decades. She also talked about the purpose of being able to have black businesses in California to shed light on the economic state and to look at the engine. Here you have an economic engine in the state and it's not being utilized for black businesses, is what she talked about. And she'd said this quote, "It takes a certain mindset to run a business and be able to sign a check on both sides," she said.
A certain mindset, huh?
Yeah.
So one of the things that they mentioned that in 2007, black-owned 1.9 million non-farm U.S. business operate 50 states and the District of Columbia, an increase of 60.5% from 2002.
Wow. And we want to have some more of those facts. Well, let's look at some more of those facts right now. Mm-hmm. You also have firms that generated $98.9 billion in receipts, which is an increase of 50.2% from 2002. Talking about some of those black-owned
Mm-hmm.
firms, right?
Yeah, and also in 2007, 1.8 million black-owned firms have no paid employees, an increase of 64.5% from 2002.
So after the break, we want to talk about how black businesses can be a part of this high-speed rail train, because it is coming to the Central Valley, and it's time for them to be able to hop on the train, and do not miss it. You're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back. Want to contract for the City of Fresno? Great, because the City of Fresno needs you for paint, rehab, roofing, and minor repairs. Attend the contractor's workshop and find out how you can qualify. Call 559-621-8300, 559-621-8300, and reserve your spot for August 19th at Fresno City Hall in the Council Chambers from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Join us at the R&B Blues concert hosted by Feather Eyes, featuring the sounds by DJ Yellow and Sharon Anderson and Baby B. Saturday, September 12th at the Museum Outdoor Pavilion. Doors open at 5 p.m. Admission is $20, VIP $35.
To meet state-mandated water cuts during this drought, we all need to use less water.
Start by knowing your 2 outdoor watering days. Odd addresses on Tuesday and Saturday, and evens on Wednesday and Sunday.
Then, cut your watering times in half. And if you see problems with city sprinklers, let us know.
We're all in this together, and together is the only way we can meet our goal.
So this summer, don't frown on brown, because a brown lawn is a responsible lawn.
A message from the City of Fresno.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennice Najib.
We are in the historic Fulton Mall. Historic because where we're walking right now eventually will be gone. Because the streets will open up. This will be a bustling downtown, as it has started to bustle because we are getting more developments as people are coming down here for the California high-speed rail. It's on its way, it's coming, and you need to be a part of that.
You need to take advantage of the billions and billions of dollars that's going to be a part of that high-speed rail. They're going to have jobs in every facet from that. I mean, as far as construction, as far as in food, as far as even in media, getting the word out about the high-speed rail. So as a community, we have to be a part of that and not miss that boat.
That training is so important. If you're not an entrepreneur or business owner, then it is about getting the training now, not waiting, but finding that information now. So we'll be putting that, if you go to our website, that information where you can find out more about training. And I know people are saying it's going to be years to come. Not necessarily. That started now. Even the breaking ground has already begun. That already happened. So you have people that are already constructing, which means you can be a part of that. Even businesses can be a part of that now.
I was talking to a young lady not too long ago about she wanted to get a job in regards to high-speed rail, but she didn't have any particular skills, an African-American lady. And I told her, you need to find out how to get a trade and find what trade it is that you need to learn so you can take advantage of that opportunity. Because when you're working with the high-speed rail, when you talk about billions and billions of dollars, a piece of that can go into you and your own family.
And so you can go to onme.amptvnow.com, onme.amptvnow.com, and that is a link where you can find out more about the trades and fields that you would want to go into or get more training from. Also some information for those businesses, small businesses that are needing more information, getting certification. We know that even Nick Hill, who was the former Kern County Black Chamber of Commerce, he's also a consultant now. He's helping with that effort. People that want to know more about certification and how they can be a part of that action, because action is already happening. You have people that are moving from the Bay Area and people that are moving from other areas, even the LA areas, to be right in the middle, because California, as far as the cost of living, it's a lot less here, as we reported on one of our other programs about the about this area, right?
And also with the other businesses in this area, taking advantage of that high traffic and also that high revenue is going to be important in this area, because the property value also is going to go sky up.
And as it was reported in the Forbes magazine, Fresno is the best place to be when it comes to buying real estate. At least it's one of the third best places to be, because it's boosting up, and like we said, the cost of living is a lot less, and people are moving here to the Central Valley to be able to live here. So Fresno is not a bad place. It is a great place to live, and you should begin thinking that and believing that. And people are asking, why do I say that? Well, in the black community, we have this stigma. People were saying the Fresno, but this is the Fres yes, y'all. Get involved and either be a part of real estate. Maybe this is the time that you want to reach out to those real estate giants that we do have here in the community, so that you can be a part of that. And so those are things that we're going to be talking about. But before we get out of here, we want to give you an excerpt of Valley Black Talk Radio that talks about the latest issues and their commentary, even on those national issues. Let's take a look. It's up to us to take a conscious decision. So now you know, you've heard it on Valley Black Talk Radio. You'll hear about it on AMP TV.
You're going up there spending your
so
money.
So if you're spending your money, still, shame on you, because you've been known. But I'm telling black folks to boycott that until they can support their different media, black media outlets. You have to. And so, because we spend billions of dollars in the Central Valley, $3 billion to be exact, $750 million just in Fresno alone.
I bet you, you won't be insignificant if you quit going up there.
Exactly.
I bet you that.
Exactly. So I just wanted Valley Black Talk Radio listeners to know about that. Mel, you gotta call me. You give me the strength.
No. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay, because I'm like, my
of other options that you can do to put pressure on people, and then who has their ear? What elected officials have their ear? What do they need from local government to keep doing what they do? And that's part of the research we need to make sure we have in place to know what button to push. Because sometimes just knowing where to put that pressure is what it's all about. It reminds me of a story of a gentleman who was a plumber who went to this elderly lady's house to fix her hot water heater. And so he went down the basement and he looked at the hot water heater. She kind of creeped around looking down to see what he was going to be doing. And she looked down there and he walked around and he pulled his pair of pliers out and he taps the hot water heater and boop, it starts working. So he comes back up and he writes out an itemized bill. And it's $100. And she said, oh no, watch, you weren't down there 5 minutes, you charged me $100? Oh, that's not fair, I can't. But tell me exactly what you did and write it and spell it out for me. He says, $1 for tapping, $99 for knowing where to tap. So that's because we got to know where we need to put the pressure on entities that we want to affect them and get them to be, do business with us. Yeah, we need to know where. And sometimes we have to be creative. Back in the 50s and 60s, our folks were very creative. I mean, when you talk about the Montgomery bus boycott, man, that when you hit people in the pocketbook, you get their attention.
And that's what I'm saying. People have to start boycotting, from the Albers, Cornmeal, to the local. We're talking about Table Mountain. We have to. If we don't do that, if we're not listening to the information from our own media networks, how do we how do we expect to be part of the process and say I was a part of that change?
And it, to me, it's just the insult. I'm attached to that dollar. When I put that dollar wherever I put it, I'm attached to it. You have to talk to me. You can't just talk to the dollar. And if you're not willing to talk to me, you don't.
Well,
get
I guess
my
your dollar's not good, so just take it from
so I'll
there.
just take it somewhere.
Go to a
else.
different mountain. There's a whole bunch of other mountains, right?
442-1680, folks. If you'd like to join in, there was a couple people that called during my little diatribe there about tapping on the hot water heater, but maybe it was so funny to them they hung up.
I don't know, but I'll say this: if you are calling, we want you to call now, because when you call during the break, we have to
We're
wait
busy.
until we're back on
Yeah.
to pick it up. So we've had people call during the break a couple of times, and it
Don't be
rings, and
scared.
then they hang up. Don't hang up. You have to hang on with us until we're back on the air. Then we can pick you up.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Just come on in and say what you got to say. You know, ain't nobody going. We don't know who you are for real, but unless you identify yourself, or we know that voice. Like sometimes your voice gives you away.
And even then, we're busy.
Yeah.
We can't come. We ain't gonna come looking for you.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this, what Regina Wilson said, and it's from the group, the CBC California Black Media, talking about improving black business prosperity in California. And so what this article talks about, the perpetual struggle for black-owned businesses to survive in California. Don't we know it? The Legislative Black Caucus convened an informational hearing with 2 Assembly Business and Jobs Committees at the state capitol recently to hear testimonies of established business owners. We got a chance to watch the commentary with myself, Joel Riversmith, and Mel Sanders in regards to Valley Black Talk Radio, which you can watch every Sunday, or listen to every Sunday evening. From 8 to 9 is where we do a repeat of the ONME Sunday Mornings. And then from 9 to 11, we're on live. And you can listen live by going to 1680am.amptvnow.com. And also, we want to remind you to don't forget to watch AMPTV Now News. We're on every day on Biz TV at 1 p.m. That's Monday through Friday. And that's on your local Biz channel, and that's nationwide, where we talk about the latest in business and African-American businesses. And so, any last words, final words that you want to say in regards to African-American businesses and making sure people know that Fresno is the hot spot?
Well, Fresno is a hot spot right now.
I just said
People are going to be coming in from LA and the Bay Area
They're already here.
in minutes, to work there and here and take advantage of this opportunity that's the high-speed rail is going to be bringing here. So
Those are the last words. We hope that you have a great week. Thank you for watching this edition of ONME Sunday Mornings.